when you're in the exam, hautange nekuvhura folder iroro, unotanga nekuloada Python yako. So inini already, I just pinned mine per taskbar. So it's just a matter of clicking panapa, you'll be able to load the browser. So when I click ipapo, it usually lands on the desktop, which is why I prefer to create a folder over desktop. So if it's on the desktop, you just get into that folder. But mine, it's a desktop, but it's a folder within a folder within a folder, but as long as it's not a desktop, so you just then navigate to go there from button the area. So this is the tutorial we are taking through. That's my notebook. But even which I created the folder, and if you're now in an exam, it's just now a matter of scrolling to that folder. New Python 3 or whatever version Python function and it.
Okay.
Then you create the folder, the notebook. Sorry. Once it's created, rename it to say, say your reg number or whatever the instruction in repo. Or maybe not even specifically for the exam, maybe then it's a module or something. For me, this would be for tutorial 2. So we just rename this tutorial 2. So you just rename it to whatever it is you want. And this folder, this notebook your creator will automatically be saved more folder that we will receive. It's already appearing panel. So even because we put data sets, because we put my pictures in the exam. Now go because we download it will obviously go to download folder. You just go and copy it to download folder. Auto end up File Explorer unozinamira ku folder first that it will start appearing panel. It will benefit you and later on you are now part of the class. Why it's important to put your pictures or your data sets in the same folder. Like paper can put a picture here it's now just a matter of copying the name in the extension. Autanida kutanga kuti user / folder akati.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Alright, it's fine.
Yeah, it's now clear.
Alright, it's fine.
Okay, ma'am. I just wanted to ask her.
Yes.
Which operating system would you recommend for the exam?
Okay, that's a personal preference, but vazhinji vanokoda prefer Linux, but I personally use Windows. So I think to answer that, the one you're using now is the best because you wouldn't want to be practicing with a machine in a certain operating system, then just because the other is said to be preferred, you switch to that. An operating system towards the exam. But if you have to switch now, I think it will be fine. You can walk on the operating system, you start now. Both the operating system, like say you're not familiar with Linux, you're then supposed to start learning Linux. Also, that follows the graphic code. So it's really up to you. But I mean, use Windows.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
All right.
Hello, Miranda.
Hi, Tao.
Good. Ko panyaye ngikini kunyora code ya chapa. Can one use PyCharm?
Okay. Yeah, I've met a number of people who've used PyCharm, but I personally prefer Jupyter for various reasons. But PyCharm, it works, but I think Python is preferred. Why don't you prefer Python? Or why don't you use PyCharm?
Okay, PyCharm pane ma assistive pa code pacho you will be having assistive add-ons. You can actually see when you are typing my code is and then yes, issues like my typos urim exam you can quickly notice which tongo type out to underline and all that.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I think in future preference, which in I just prefer Jupyter Notebook. There wouldn't be a problem with PyCharm, but in like when Stomboti you have wakasira kupedza and you've been writing to PyCharm, it will still be good if you can just copy the code when you start to download.
Okay.
But
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
no
I think.
problem with PyCharm.
Okay.
So is there any other question? Tatanga, we've got about a minute to go.
Ingotisirewo code yayainhikini uyo muchatbox katimboikopa
Yes.
yeclass iyayo. Bhozi pangu inini hameno zvairitoita irotondudza zvokuti era what handichaziva kuti zvakufamba sei.
Makaisa double underscore up. Do you mind sharing your screen? Kuba tatongotanga by fixing this and todaenda ku data mistake.
Apa ndiri pafoni ndichida zvototora time. Maybe ngandasvika kunhu.
All right.
Mukamboti copyright tikambozoanalyze, I think it will work.
How can I?
Yeah, ipapo. Majita.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so I think we can start. So yesterday, Changetine Jinu 3 zvataifanira kutanga tichiita before we move on to today's business. The first thing was Simba, I don't think has joined the class yet. He had opted to give us a little bit of insights near the self-arguments in Yachnoshan Init function. Then the second thing was, if you guys had further questions for NumPy, we will. Hi, Simba.
Hi, Miranda. How are you?
I'm good. How was your day?
Very stressful.
Stressful is good. Do you have the insight for us?
I tried looking in it, and I will try sharing what I got. I don't know if it's gonna make sense.
I know it's fine. I also have something to. We'll just help each other to share or light to others.
That's great.
So will you be sharing your screen or you'll be just talking?
I can share my screen, it's fine.
All right, so let me stop presenting, then you can take over.
Just give me a moment so that I just clean my desktop.
All right, it's fine.
Just a minute.
Okay. Then maybe in the last Kangano, let me also give you a link. You know, so gonna I'm just going to put it in public chat. It explains things easier.
Okay. I think I can present.
Okay, yeah, I've left and stop up the presenter so you can take over.
All right, that's fine. I don't know if my screen is now visible to everyone.
I can't see it. I don't know the others.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mhm.
Okay, share. Right, how about now?
Yeah.
It's coming.
I
All right,
think
that's fine. So the issue that was there was to understand and define the keyword self. And yesterday we said that the keyword self comes when you make a class. So let's just create our class. Classes usually starts with the keyword class starts with a small letter, and then we can just put a name. We will probably call it a student. And then if we have a student class, we just put this colony, and then we define the instance of the class. So we said on the instances, that's when you put this underscore in it, and then you put underscore again. And afterwards, you open brackets, and then you write self, then comma, then you can put other arguments that you want to put. For example, if it contains ID number, and maybe first name and the last name. So the question was on the word self itself. Here in this case, from my research, I've realized that the word self here is just any word that you can put. It's not a keyword that is used in Python, but rather it's the first call that will help you that will help your code to know that you're instancing other things that you're going to pass on. So in other words, we are saying whenever you say self, this first keyword that is here is just the same. I think for those people who have done Java, they know that in Java, when you are presenting your main, you put args, which is args, and then you put kw args, which is keyword arguments. So in the same sense, with self, it just tells you that we are going to put arguments, and these arguments are going to be part of this direct class. So in this case, the class which is called student is going to have arguments which are going to be predefined by self, and these arguments are going to be ID number, from F name, which is first name and last name. So my understanding is that whenever you are doing Python, and you declare a self, you are telling your code that it doesn't have to look outside other classes. For example, let's say we have this class, and then we get another class probably for, what can you say, lecturers maybe, since we have taken the root of a school setup. When you define this init again, you have to initialize again, and you put again self. And the self in lecturer will only apply on things which are in lecturer. And probably the lecturer might have the lec ID, which is the lecturer ID. Let me just put a small letter here. Lec ID. And then probably, what else? First name. So in short, whenever you're defining self, the self which is in this will only apply in the lecturer class, and the self which is here will only apply in the student class. The only time that you want to call for this self, which is in another class, you have to do what they call inheritance. I'm sure maybe Miranda is going to, sorry, I'm sure maybe Miranda is going to explain about the inheritance later on. I just thought I couldn't just read the sayings with the new concepts as yet. So yeah, this self is going to only apply on this class. For example, you can say self dot ID number, and then this is going to be the ID number. So what this says, or rather, if you remember very well, in the first place, I said this self is not really a Python word. It's not a keyword in Python. You can even put any other word here. You can even call it what can you call it? Okay, we can call it Miranda. And then, because you've called it Miranda here, when you're defining, you also have to call it Miranda, right? But the reason why we use self in Python is the issue of readability. It becomes easier for someone to understand your code, and it even becomes easier for you yourself to understand your code. That's why we've decided to go for the word self, which will only tell yourself that you are referring to the instances of this class. And a class is an object, just like in any other language. A class is an object, and all these objects are referring to myself, like to self, as in the student class. Just the same way here. When you want to, you can't say self. Sorry, let me just put this. Okay, here you can't put self, and then you refer to last name, L name, which is here in student. It won't work. You'll be referring to something else that is totally different, that is not defined. So it's actually only telling you that when the code is now looking for self, for L name, it's going to look from itself rather than looking from other classes. I'm sure if you do inheritance, you can see that with inheritance, it will take the code which is in another class and put it here, and the self will still work as if it was defined in the same class. But in this case, it will only work in the current code that you are in. I don't know if you want me to continue the examples, or I think it might suffice. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I think we might take questions, but I think you explained it quite clear, or how I was going to explain it. And I had something written down, so I'm just going to paste it here for you guys to read. But it's more or less what Simba was saying. So if you have any questions, maybe don't wait as those questions regarding what he was presenting on for a few minutes, then we do the task and you do.
Okay, so I can stop presenting, or we can wait for the questions.
Yes. Let's anyone with a question.
Well, the silence might mean people haven't heard anything, or probably it was informative. So I don't know. Is there any question or any comment? Probably a comment would be better, if there is any.
Hello.
Yes, Fatai.
Yeah, I think in Nambeto research about that self element, and it actually talks to what you were saying, that it is used as a reference to the instance of an object, of which our object in the class here the student. So it is actually now linking with what I actually read about in the afternoon. Thank you about that.
All right, ma'am. So I think people have understood. If there are any other questions, I think Madam Miranda will just continue explaining and taking us through till we reach the promised land. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Simba.
All right, welcome.
All right. Then, as I mentioned, we will not be covering inheritance in this course. I'm sure you covered that next semester in one of your courses. So because this is like an introductory and my fundamentals to programming, to analytical programming. So you do that or maybe machine learning, maybe this semester, but machine learning, this is just introductory. But as you were saying, self is not a reserved word. However, it's just best practice. Like I pasted the notes in the chat. Which is this is just a custom that programmers say Python have adopted. It's just a custom, and it's there for readability. It's a silent or mutual understanding that they have. So self is just the this instance that we'll be using. And then my arguments are not for after self. Those are optional. When you're dealing with objects, like a nana student, nana employee, nana lecturer, like the examples we've been giving so far. A certain object in characteristics are attached to it, then yes, you might put those arguments. But you find it like the example at Next, yes, taking one of you guys or all of you guys, did work on the questionnaire yes check, we realized that it might not have arguments mukati the init function because there is like apana characteristics are attached to that, even though panima actions are repo. So is there anyone akaita the 1 year yes check to take us through?
Inini I browsed through, but then pesa ndanda kuvharwa, so ndakubira parodi.
All right, I think you can take us through kana tashaya mumwe munhu, but I would really want all of us to chip in. Kana pano munhu aito something, kana ngoito kana one function isiri the init aito in one extra function to just take us through. It would be good if you all join the part. Anyone? Or ari kuda kutongotanga kutoita izvezvi tichitongobatsirana tichienda? Guys, it's good to engage because we can code and it can all help you. And the things that you're corrected, you will not get it wrong tomorrow. But you can go viral, you can go rambira, you're going to keep your errors to yourself and you might not be able to correct them, but then so it's good if you come to a platform, talk about that and you correct you it will benefit you. Cannot long wait a shangini. Okay, Simba, do you want to take us to Skapawashika and then we continue? Or maybe for time, let me just do, then you guys will be chipping in. But make a disadvantage to you guys. Kuti pangocha mukasazonzwisisa tinogona to redeem each other, but it's fine. Let me do it. Makona screen yangu anti?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is what was required. We're required to create a class in this check and take care to get those attributes are up. So you so stake really create a really empty. And according to this, stake attributes like we are not supposed to determine the color of the. I gave an example that is visualize the area plate, and we are not supposed to give my attributes like the color of the plate or the size of the plate. So in this particular example, and the example student lecturer, the object does not have my arguments that is specific to it. In what actions that push na pop up. What I mean is, let me just open it. What I'm trying to say is like sisters in the KCIANA student. The object of the student is like first name, last name. Then apart from having those arguments, my actions in Garipo, we are supposed to then read that first name, we are supposed to read that last name. However, for Panapa, we have actions equita. Akafana na niwa ana read ana get relation seven these are actions being done to the objects, but I am attributes or my arguments are removed. So you find with this particular example, we will not have these arguments. the init function will only have self. Anenge asina arguments because stake redu harina ma attributes like antara specify ndiro yacho kuti ndewaite here kwandakakura sei. However, we have actions to be done to the stake. So I hope that that part is clear before we start. So first of all, we will start by creating the class stake rationally. And then we'll do the first part, define init. So that's how I would do. This is just best practice. It's not really mandatory. This keyword reaching itself, the one sorry for any other name. But we're supposed to create stake really empty. And since pana defa the initial code class here, this is where we will create stake rational. And yesterday I gave you a hint, which is stake relation data structure here list. So we can just start by creating an empty list. So we can say self dot, I just like using the letter L for lists equals, this is the syntax here list, and it's empty. So run a class here, automatically create a list, but the list will be empty. List much when I did it. Sorry, I just need to lock my door just a second. Okay, so this is the part and I want you to understand with it, just this little line of code data. Just this little line of code data, we will create the empty list, which is the empty stake. Having done that, to define the other actions that will contribute to our stake. So the first one is we're supposed to create a function called push, and push adds a new item to the top of the stake. It is the item. It needs the item, like what is being pushed into the stake, but it returns nothing. So can someone assist me with how best can we define function hero read? How best can we define this function? All right. I need Python code that will allow us to add something to a list. I'm sure we did this to my list.
What if we append to the list L?
And but funny, that's correct. You use the append. But there is also another English and it needs an item. So kind of say we define the push. This is a function, so it's obviously F self, but is this all that I should write?
I think L can be naked, can be empty. So we also need to define that if L is equal to none, something like that. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, already L is empty, Banab. This means L is empty.
Okay, you need to pass in an argument or a parameter to push. So you need to put a comma then.
So maybe convert the new item or new. Let us just use new item. This can happen. This is an argument because this certain function, Pataytama classes, was supposed to expect, and it needed something like it needed a first name, it needed a reg number. But in this case, it needs nothing because the list will be empty. But this particular function called push requires push panofana kupushwa something, panofana kuedzerwa something. There's supposed to be an argument in some brackets, pese pachinoti push, and so that's why it is a new item uyo apa. And then, but this is not all. Now we're supposed to tell it. I think it's type 1 and it's when we are supposed to append. How do we write? How do we append this? What's the code for append?
Append.
Sorry? Someone said something correct, but Antonio was better.
L data append. Isn't it appending to the list L?
Yes. Who's that? Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, yes. This was one did say. I'm sure that's what step I wanted to say. So, okay, let us try with L data append and see if it works. But I think since still in class here, we are still still referring to this. I think to find ourselves, someone to assist if that's correct, to the self.l. This is referencing the list. Then kutangira panapa data append. That's the normal syntax here. Yes, data chapter because I wonder let is that affect and it just this first part we are to reference to a instance of that class. Then this part L data append we are talking about if you want to add something in a list, it will be the list name data append. Then what are we appending? We are appending new item. Okay. Then there is also another action we're supposed to do. We're supposed to pop, and pop here it removes the top item from the stack. It needs no parameters and it retains the item. And after that is done, the stack is modified. That means chikachipopa chikaremoved. Achifane kuramba chirimo mistake machona. So how do I so I am a keyword that can you wrap in red, but changu chance is my name of my function table. But what are the arguments that I write in a problem? Is it accepting any input, any new item? Does it need any argument to be passed?
No, it doesn't need an argument.
It doesn't need an so to always a self-check. That's all we put him on. But we haven't told it the action here. We first part as a call up pop. What is it supposed to do? And it pop takai it my list.
Chakaita, it removes the last item on the list.
And that's exactly what
the index.
And it when it's taken my place and get so you said it removes the last item on the list. And in this case, the last item is on the list. Don't negative so if it removes the top item, that is the last thing in the list or in the stack in this case. Like a pop here, item with my list will work the same way, will work perfectly for this function. So it will be self.l dot pop. No, but it's supposed to retain the item. So what this action does, but it does not display it. So first to be able to display it, it's supposed to retain that thing that is being popped. So it retains anything that will be popped and it like this. Is it making sense? Anyone with a question, Satadika?
Can you come again?
Okay. For this function, it was a bit easy because passion forward to pop and pop with my list. The passion is what a different way like to clean. And I would want you with clean and it actually let us put clean as the function name. Do that is so clean. I'm near to apply the farm so just the action I took down push but now I go clean. And kucleana kwacho munhu unotora the plate that's on the top. And if it's a list, zvichipinda chaiswa pekupedzisira chiri padenga in this case, that's the last record yaendwa mulist medu. And we all know kuti kumalist, if you want to remove the last entry yaiswa mulist, you pop that item, which is why we are now using this function inonzi pop. Pop yangarapa paingangoriwo maybe it was a hint, but I've changed that. Let me write it up and kapata kutizongokola pop yakaziva kudhara kuti ndo basa rainoita. It will get a little bit interesting pachaenda pane the next one is zvajeka here kuti kwaitashandisa pop uyu. Tadzimirwa.
So if we use clean, don't we have to put clean on that where there's pop, or it can work like that?
All right. No, we don't. Thank you for that question, Anditika. Maybe I actually should have given names are obvious like this. No, we don't have to put clean panap. The reason being, Pandati pop person. This is just popo is just a name, just a function name. But what do I want that function to do? We want that function to remove an item in part of the stack. So it's also what we should be doing right now. Even but I want us to kind of ignore those words in red and tolerate in black. Then you think with the api functions that I can put on the my built-in functions are already and to achieve vision to the upper page. My functions they say we already covered them. So popo you listen as standard clean because in as much as it was a clue, it might end up confusing one. I mean understand I'm gonna say someone to say it's better. Kind of than the way I'm saying it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, ndachida kuti pana pop up kadzoka maybe if you can show me pane syntax because anditi initialize inonzi stack yedu na iri list ndizvo. Saka uyo pop uyo i property ndizvo and method yepa list hapana clean pa list because saka ndepa list ndosaka kuna haisi kuna self kustack yatagadzira saka zvito tishandise clean. I don't know kana ndabuda so clean.
Ngenenga chibvunzo zviya.
Ndifadza.
It's slowly getting in, but it's fine. I'll get there.
Alternatively, what you can do, or what you can do, I would want you to write maybe code. Kana tombofura pane code yawakamboita a list, and it's which envision a list iroro. Actually, it could actually help even with exam. But I would want you to create. Let us try doing that. Maybe. It is nearly said on the W and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we have our list like this and or maybe they can create a really already. Since I don't create our data list ready. Okay, let us create it to the end so that to know that is the line. So this part what we've done here is what we did here. I create an empty list in the W. Then but interpret the next thing. But it is only to push out. We want to add new item. Mistake name. We want to add a new item in our stack, and we know it's using a list data structure. It's using a list and it. So how do we add things? W. It will be W dot append. Otherwise, I think how to add there. In this case, maybe it's 1, and they also want to print W. Do you get this? So and then there's one data plate. Tari some tabatari yisa mistake machona. Then there comes the next data plate, which is plate number 2. We still go back and run the same. We still go and append that list. Plate append 2. And it's a printer W. Ana 1 and 2. The sticker will put up an plate akashiba. This is this part. Then but that's this is this part is W dot append. Nichinu chachuna chatirka append. Then self dot to language class. Self dot to those kind of like Tangrapana self dot is just because you call it in class. But this Tangrapana L dot append, this is just the language that I want of my list. So try to visualize it like this. Then the next function is, let us ignore the word pop the clean. But what is that function in the clean doing? It is removing the top item from the stack. So in this case, Fuzzy, which is the top item per stack ready is the tip happens like so the tip soro mistake.
It's true.
It's true. How do you remove 2 from a list?
It's what is it?
Ndinombisa sei
Can delete. We use delete.
Delete what? If you have chosen to take
delete
the syntax yacho yese.
Unoita neindexing nengwa kuti delete on position chiripa position 1 ichi because we are starting from 0.
But why did you choose that route? Choose the easy way out. So Usashan said delete. What's the easiest way to remove a interpret from list? The clue is in front of you.
Okay, you can use the pop thing, the pop function.
And pop highly index. It's as simple as that. It's popping the last thing from list and it. And togona kuchiona togona kuassigna chinhu icho kuna e is equal to that. Then printer e ikatorodza 2, which is what this part wants. Kuti hanzi zvoni remove the top item from the stack. It needs no parameters, which skadai watoshandisa delete waingokanganisa because kana pautopiwa nzoni whatever code yatoshandisa it must not take any parameters, but it has to return the item. So you can either do zandaita panapa kuti wopopa chinhu chachona obva wachiprinta seso, or an easy way washudu zvataita panapa kuti w.pop ushu ndiye ari apa pa-l.pop self tamutaura dhara. So I'm going to keep typing self, but try to kind of ignore self wachona because tamusanangura dhara tari kuita ipapo, then return ushu ndiye achazongoprinta ndiye zvakafanana neizvi zvajeka.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
all right. So right now, after tapopa 2 no fadzi mulist medu masara chi
masara 1 chet
and thank you. Right. Tidzokere padenga panapa taita pop, then pick, and the pick returns. Okay, I think let us just add a little bit more items in list medu. Let me start by creating a blank and appending 1, appending 2. It So the same way ndiri kuisa chinhu chakawanda panapa, append even append wedu yokunoku, handiti append agara anobvuma zvimwe zvinhu. So append wedu anofanira kuaccepta. Okay. So we have to append 1 It's okay. Okay. Let me start over. So handiti maona kuti ndarana save ka2. The first one gave me this 2, but ndarana futi it gave me another. So ndarana futi save return pamwe 2. So I'm starting over my list, empty list. I append 1, I append 2. I want to append maybe 4. So that can attack my actions. It will make sense to all of us. Let's append 4 panapa. 7. So panapa. So if I now run this patch against the pop, what is going to be popped out of my list? List current list in the area. Anyone? What will be popped? 7. And if I try to print my list now, Masara 1, 2, na 4. And it's popa tiripanap. Tapopa out, tapopa up. Now takwenda pakanzi pick. Pick function and it's supposed to retain the bottom item from the stack. Bottom item, per stack redeemer place, bottom item, do change pinda papi page. So what this means is you're supposed to retain the first thing per list, or in terms of indexing, index position and 0 and vertical. So retain the bottom item from the stack, but does not remove it. It needs no parameters. So that means partial creator function is self-stateable, we're not taking any parameters. And then the stack is not modified. Index 0, but we are not removing it from that position.
Yes.
Okay, indeed. So let us now write the points. How do I see chino index position index position 0?
W square brackets 0.
W
square brackets
0 and this is exactly, that's the first thing, Chiripo. So I just talking to put on up. And you don't want to define the pick and it pick. It retains nothing from arguments, self-check. But then what are you doing? You're going to retain self. Okay, so this is an L. What does that mean? Making sense?
Yes.
All right. The next, Pip retains the top item from the stack, but does not remove it. It needs no parameters, and the stack is not modified. Saka Pip yakangofanana na pick, but yakangoshanda in reverse. So someone to dictate the code for me.
-1.
-1.
-1 exactly, because we do not know kuti stake redu rakakura sei tikuzoti pane maplates mangani. Saka isusu taikwanisa kuti using w taikwanisa kuti w012 32 yes anotiburisira 4, but ko stake redu rikakura kumaplates akaramba achiuya we'll be using the wrong index. But -1 will always give us the last thing, will always give us the chinhu chiri pekupedzisira mulist yoyo. So apa tongoshandisa reverse indexing handitika, and we'll copy this. So pano we'll define we are keep it takes no arguments. Again, we answer self chete, and it's returning Yes. So that I would at least that's W in this case L.
I was always wondering the purpose of reverse index.
The people of reverse indexing, some videos seen it. Then tabapana is empty. So what does this empty do? It tests to see whether the state is empty. It needs no parameters and it returns a Boolean value. 20.
What if we use the if statement?
Okay, let us do this together. Could you change?
So if the length of the list is 0,
then len.w. Oh no, then so and it's
W, yes, is equal to 0.
0.
Print this should be true, right? Because it's empty.
Okay, print 0. Print true.
Print true. Else print false.
Okay, that is assigned. So if equals is a double zero and it. So taona tiri guys. Maybe to test it further, kuti tione kuti inoprinta zvakanaka here. Let us just come and rerun the first part. Create a W yedu a0. Empty, sorry. Tikauya panapa it's supposed to print true. Saka code yedu iri kushanda. Sesongoyo futi panapa tokopa. To define is empty yedu. And it takes nothing. Like with itself. We are to paste. Then okay. So papa ya change my indentation, so you just correct that. Then let us not forget which place to reference a W whom replace a self.l. So don't get to a self.l what to miss a W like that. Then the next thing we're supposed to check for size. So the function draws the size, and what it does is returns the number of items on the stack. It needs no parameters and it returns an integer. To measure, say size released.
W.size.
So it is and this list object is not a good size.
But length not the number of items are listed, so we can still use length here.
You know cheap and it. So total length gives us what you want. Everybody has 0 because if you remember panapa ndayan karana panapa pana 0. So it's karana everything but I'm beta panapa. Currently W in unit 3. So it's supposed to give us 3. So it works for what we want. But don't we have to focus? Size. And Panapa is so good. Yes. Then the last one, it's supposed to display all contents currently in the state. Please display a thing. Yes, but
If we just print the list, print
And
then
list.
the name of the list, yeah.
Okay, so we do that. Okay, so it runs the name to show when it accepts no arguments. If you just return, and today also appeared and having done the data pump I'm sure we're already confident with code Shanda. However, we might need to let us just test it. Somebody in an exam setup, if you're given a class, don't just end by creating several data. Run extra code just to test it and so today also we're going to create stake ready. So remember, we were using a list. But can attack with stake ready rules that you can even give it a separate letter selection with A is equal to stake. The moment the fact that Tango is at this which is stake, so what it's going to do is going to run this first part up. The fact that Tango which is stake, it will run out this first part, which means it's going to create an empty list. Just so it is created. But then how do we know which list funny function that data brought up the list
Can we copy the code in noise of chatbot?
Please just let me know. I was saying there's a function at now. In order that it doesn't this is list if
Don't show.
but show is nothing and it so now that's but is it truly empty? It's empty. Yes, it's true, I'm matching. Okay, so now places started coming in. So I'm trying to push that in. So first thing, want to push something, want to push probably an integer. So push an integer, want to push a boolean. We want to push all these are data places that keep coming in. You want to push a string. You put. Then you want to see is this list or is this text still empty? It's supposed to print false. Obviously, both minus unit. Okay, but what is in this stake now? Okay, now I want to start cleaning out the list. So we want to start removing Miranda and depth and want to pop that thing to remove. Okay, so it has reached that it's clean. The function happens to be clean. No better to be Miranda. Or now that Miranda has been cleaned, what's there now? Okay, Masarashin true. Let us just push something else. And see what's there now. A0. Then we want to pick. What about the what about the thing that's at the bottom? Okay, fine, visual. That's true. Yeah, the function say that. With this thing, all size maybe. So we've seen Kuti ASMA functions the letter created, they're working fine. And is anyone with a question before we move on? We've consumed almost an hour of our time.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, apa kana chwana a thing kutaura kuti bound methods take show then yobhandisira kuti main dot stake object at chakuti yondipa some code ye machine language or something.
Can you just share your screen?
Is M2 wako bracket.
Mira indishe.
Achisheya ndogona kubvunzawo here nai Miranda?
Yes, please.
Kungoti hangu kwandiri kuno kunetwork yangu uri kuita ichinetsa zvokuti ndikazotaura zvisinganyatsi kuita inenge iri nyaya yenetwork. Miranda, ndandoda kubvunzawo kuti muexam inogona kunyatsouya here iyi zvayakaita?
Yeah, I will find out for you. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. On the exam ndipinzo futi mu class macho.
You're reading the class. Waleta. Okay. Okay.
So let me share window. You know, to run the share entire screen, right? Okay.
It's coming up. Irkupa error when you run which part?
It's not an error. It's just andukona this up and is a green up. So I can't see someone. Even when I was in Jupyter yesterday, it was giving me the same thing.
Okay, I can. And soon as one and those I'm gonna screen and get it. That's the so.
I think it's because they are printing a dot show. I get memory address that thing.
So how do I? Because if I do this, it doesn't do anything. You don't go that process finished with the exit code 0, which means apana error per code yes.
Chumboisa mama brackets asina chini cha.
Ambera.
Udaiso.
Rana to.
Ndora na udaiso. Non do the same thing.
Okay, can you? I can hardly see. Ndoza mukana screen and get it so.
Arushanisa chikonfeso chicho cha arushanisa.
Ipai chamu.
Alesa pai chamu saka zvakasiyana.
Ushasa pai chamu kani. Urushanisa pai chamu ndosaka uri kuita zvepai chamu.
Mana mzara confused.
But all right, that's on if I even
Ushandisire pai chamu.
Ndiye ndogona kama iwe.
What was zvakuita?
Saka panchaziya budget why you do the boss apa unoziva kuti in PyCharm tasaona right in PyCharm ndikabvisa ndabvisa pound yokwa unoona kuti inobva yaninyorera kuti hanzi chakuti izvo zvayanyora izvo but
we can't even see zvayanyora kuti zvakazvichi.
What did you? Yeah, we can hardly see zvakanyora zvachona.
Can you use the Jupyter notebook for the sake of teacher progress because the corner time and the famba guys?
Yeah, which maybe ukanyora in PyCharm donation butaura ongokuopa the first ongokuopa code yako paste mu Jupyter notebook. I think not bad or maybe Tokwanisa kuzozviita kana tutorial rapera because apa I can hardly see zvakanyorwa pascreen pachona, maybe pasangana kuti nebackground kuti it's dark.
Zvabuda pane chibaba chataura apo zvabuda.
Alright, it's fine.
Okay, hi Miranda.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, pane yeta retain my Boolean functions. Are we supposed to be printing the true and the false, or we are supposed to be retaining the actual Boolean function?
Are
we returning a string or?
Sorry?
Okay, I'm saying the question was saying we should return a Boolean function, a Boolean value. So that the printer, will it be Boolean or it will be a string?
Okay, that's a string. Tinokwanisa kushandisa Boolean value, like tokwanisa kungoreplace patati def is empty self. Pasi pachona tinokwanisa kungoti iti zvoni kunyorwa. Let's try. Return. Right. So is now return a Boolean value. What I've done, I will return a Boolean value. What this part is doing is empty. It will return the Boolean value if you can check on the list is empty. I don't know how best I can say it.
No screen here.
Peter saying? Who put the screen?
Maximize.
Like this.
Yeah, it's news none.
So if you do it this way, it will return an actual Boolean value. But kana kuri ndizvazvazoomesesa, you can still use code yatanyora. Unozongonzwirwa nyasha kuti so long ukabudisa true na false. Saka also we've completed person yes check. So we'll now be moving on to pandas. And pandas, we are going to cover my series name my data frames. You guys did that and did it. Did we do my series name my data frame?
Yes, we did, though we are still lacking time.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Martin?
I said yes, we did, but that's the area we need help.
But
Alright, it's fine. Alright. So we're going to be covering my series name my data frame under pandas. In case of pandas, we're supposed to import pandas yachona is PD. PD it's still best practice. You can import it as anything you want, but for readability, or in quote, or most programmers are not going to PD. So that's the first thing you should do. Please go to a library. So series, alright, this is in pandas. Just try to visualize a table, like in Excel table made up of rows and columns. But for a series is one-dimensional. And you realize the particular data frame ring run more dimensional, ring run more columns. I mean, so to say, and bigger. So we start by creating a series. We have already imported pandas, and whenever you're dealing with a notebook, you only need to import my libraries up once. So start. I'm going to create a series, and I'm going to use a combination of lists to create the series. So I'm just going to create a series with names. And I want to give my names. I want to give them okay. I think I should my index arguments, I think. Like sort of whole names or something. Let me just go again. So can I create a schema list also and send that to create a series? I actually have to go and create the series. Same concept questions and create a dictionary. But I create a two lists and zipped those lists to form the dictionary. So I have a patent with two lists to form a series. And how do you do that? You say pd.series with a capital letter S data. But we then specify it data really. And it will have my default index. Let us just do this. Don't ignore rows and this happen. So it can go down, where's my default index and 0, 1, 2. But we can actually name my index. Fetch data, then index is equal to rows like that. Then my index I name my hello. Titan. Okay, I think it's a mistake. So we can go on and on and on, but let us just keep it simple like this. And the same way yataita is 0. Okay, that's not the zeta, but we can do it today to observe we can index, we can slice my series, and we can slice even my data frames in each child. So we want to view maybe want to view Miranda budget. We can actually slice it so that my lists news of my arrays. But in this case, I want you to master with the series, it being a one-dimensional, one column and whatever you slice up, it's what's the English column or it's all right. Good. And this kind of my index value is there 0, 1, 2. So this can slice column 2. It means we're slicing everything to kapana 2. Miranda and will come out, but if Anna 2 will not come out. So just syntax here, attraction sign is 0, slicing here is still going to apply. It has which pray high, but my data frames just now. The slicing, it's still lower bounds, upper bounds in the step. So even you find today, actually we can do that here. Or we can slice it to get lower bound after Pereira in the step of
sorry, Miranda.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Very sorry to take you back a little bit. May you kindly go back to the beginning of the series part? I'm following through, checking everything that you've done, but I'm still getting some errors this side. You just kindly just go back. Okay, thank you, but thank you.
Okay.
Alright. Same as the language is whenever you're slicing, you first put the lower bound, upper bound in the step. Just under Miranda. So I've simply taken everything from the beginning to the end with the step of 2. That's how slicing works. And I think for my series, there isn't really much to do. But okay. Maybe one thing. Magaita ere lock na iLock. Did you do index, location, and iLock? You didn't?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Takazozviite.
Hatina uzita.
Okay.
Takazviita.
All right. It's okay, all right.
I think blocks are we don't know content now. For blocks I don't know who data class
Takaita pa weekend class, guys. Manotsi pa
Cheka manotsi enyu
lecture ari zviripo zvese.
Right, it's fine. Let us just it's okay. So there's also another way you index or you can survive beneficial of slicer in lock iLock. So basically iLock, I was got to mirror index. And whenever you're using iLock, it means and this one create a big tanga create a series rename default index. Then Panapa create a random labels. So when you're using iLock, it simply means iLock can go find and do it and go direction this is that you didn't change some values and a two this is iLock is what they're using index. So maybe another way, maybe I could write, okay, let me just write iLock. The fact of which that iLock, I have to put my index position. Like in this case, no contact the same data you put right negative B, maybe Gogchanga, Toshika 2. You want to put the first two. But alternatively, can't watching any the series down can data frame rang there is some labels and they've lost count which index position 2 not in not N3 in and N3 I can just use block the label location and Canada Chansa I have to put the name of the string. In this case I'm N3 in the container if I just want to bring it up like this. So okay, yeah. I think with that here. However, with iLock, you know location, but it includes the last function. What I mean is until but index position like the data control. Hi Clement, can you please turn off the mic? Clement. Hi Clement, so brought the mic. Thank you. So, like Zanetta Panapa, this was index 01, index 02, index 03. Ivana is in index 0, 1, 2. Ivana is on index position 2. And Panapa Foundations iLock. I'm not exclude. But when you're using lock, that last thing Tawai Momo will be included in the slice. So just go in the lookout for that. And there isn't really much to talk about my series, and we move straight to my data frame. So my data frames akada kungofanana wakati akatofanana ni my series, but they are just animal dimensions which like we can end a whole lot of other things and like setting it to a series and this. So I'm going to dive straight into it. Right, so I'm going to create a data frame around, and I will not be importing pandas again because I've already imported pandas. So I'll start probably by giving column names and look at that. Maybe I will have in the form of a list again. I will have Made the name. And the data that I'll be putting in more. Saka. I'm a data frame, but in chance of data frame. A data frame is still made up of a list, but it's made up of a list of lists. Alright. I'm going to ignore column. Column na index and so I'm going to forgo column with your tang and you're creating a data frame. It's visualize an array, visualize in Excel and the tower. So each row is made up of a list. But for the interpreter to know which need data frame, you get a list of lists. So on a list rectangle this bracket will tell you it's a data frame. But not that which add rows actually. So row rectangle is another list on its own. So you don't get the 3 rows. I would advise you to get the outer bracket and the list. Karim Kataga would just row number 1, what not comma, what is row number 2, comma, row number 3. So already what you have to do is just come and feed the information also to give us 3 empty rows. But for time's sake, let us just put the details. The left records. So where I build up with my quotes, you see, I'm interchanging them. Can I function the Congo biotic? Can I go your my double quotes in this also? Can I go your my single quotes? It still access anything. Then we've created a list of lists, but we have not yet created our data frame. Just like we can create a list, but we had not created the series yet. So now it's going to create a data frame. And it's just also another coding practice, which I think kind of when they're referring to the data frame inside DF, but you can really use anything else. Remember, wherever I call data string at and what S is equal to pd.string. Can I read data frame? It's pd.data with a capital D and frame with a capital F, one word. Please don't put a small letter F or a small letter D. But I think that this can suffice like this. Then we print D for to give us a unlabeled columns and unlabeled rows. However, this will be the list of our columns. So if you want to label our columns, columns being this is a keyword. Then variable understand this. Maybe it's variables. If I print this, then the it will change. So we can also even rename my name Zima rows like the type I go to that index equals okay, let us just change it to 1. So you see, originally index, index percent is still 0, 1, 2, but the index label is 1, 2, 3. I hope that's clean and easy. So can I tell you also, we're even able to read a particular column or a particular row, like say I want to read, I would teach one want to read column content, master and body over more directory, or get those names. Okay, what about their ages? Age like that. We can even to add among columns to our data frame. But these are marked for these are my record. We now want to add weights of these people that I have about. We can come here and say
Oh, Tasara.
guys,
Please copy. May you please copy? Yes, that was my question. Please paste, copy and paste.
It's participated. Okay, Imbo.
Yeah, it will update.
Yeah, I think this is what I've done so far. And I was about to add another column. And how you add that column? This is the column name, the one I'm adding. Go to assign in form of a list. In list if the number of rows are equal. So in this case we have 3. We have 3 rows. If you have 3 rows. Second, the tongue is a weight here, it may be 54, 52, 53. The weight. And if I run this and I will try to print this, for contain the column, the one with edit. Please them to comment. I'm going to give them not ground, but in this happens the time to comment away so that you can more things. Okay.
That's her.
Okay. I prepare the mind to get the system you started to be there.
Yeah, I don't know but that was Sarah.
Nasara good.
Mono was scroller up vision. Alpha again.
And the Patangra method.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. All right.
Sorry, you should run that code pamatangira, but don't do that. I could define you. I'm not so shocked the way I was.
You run this, so.
Yes.
Can you share your screen? I hope you're going in background.
Unaweza tujirume sindoka kwa
Manyo.
Tichanzwa zvakawanda bana.
Tichanzwa zvakawanda.
May you share your screen so that that's why I need to move on.
I think network actually and reputation is.
Okay, or may copy your code so because we're trying to cover as much because mangwana I have another class.
Okay. Ndopesta pa
comments chakuti ndozvikopambesa pangona tiripa era babake.
While he is copying Miranda, but change question paper. I heard you saying tomorrow you have another class, or we are already covering the question paper.
Atata totanga ta question paper ndosika ndiri kumhanya sandiri kuita izvi. I can give you the answers to the question paper, but I would prefer to teach a test, build a test.
Can do a tutorial.
Tomorrow I have a network to organize a kumberuko when I don't have another class. As for tomorrow and Jipo. Quite different,
Maybe you import pandas.
Yeah, did you import pandas?
Are we sharing this?
That's what the problem was.
This is exactly the same as my code. Yeah. Did you import pandas?
Yeah, I've just imported it and it's now running.
Alright, it's fine.
Okay.
So where were we? Okay, so what we did here, I told you guys the trick behind creating a data frame is knowing which you have to make a list. You have to make this. I need three my list. Panel this outer list is ne bracket jaga buru pana bed. Richi baro pek this rapana. Then catch me list roro. List.
Hi Miranda, you need to share.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I was saying that she could my data frame. Just like the Nangata paper my series and series, create a list. The reason why we don't put lists inside of it's not a list of lists my series because my series are one dimensional. But we have to create in my dimensions like one in like a series is one column. But data frame columns like a one. So we represent that by creating a list of lists. This is list number 1, list number 2, list number 3. Those 3 lists are inside this one mother list driver. Tadaro, so this was answer code driver with the PD data frame. And who is alternatively you can this is but for smart coding, it's advised to create a variable, list of lists that if you want to declare my columns or declare my rows, it's up to you. But this is not really mandatory. You know, create a data frame. This is my column headings. This is my index, my label, my index. Tadaro, and that you can actually read things that are in specific or particular columns. Like you can read what's in age, what's in names, and what's not. And you can even want to add another column like what we did here. To add hi Thomas, you and Michael, Michael one. You can actually even go on to add another column. And that's okay, and we've used iLock na lock my series. But it's going to get a little bit more interesting because if you know this data frame, create with 100 columns and 1,000 rows and so forth and data. But what you've got that big data frame and you want to print only M and 29 na M na 6. How do you do that? You want to go down pick a certain part or a certain chunk of your data frame or a certain chunk of your data frame. How will you do that? So that's how I put the issue. So did you guys do that? Magambozvita here pama-lectures.
Hi, Miranda. Sorry, Miranda.
Yes, I.
Is it able? Can we create another row?
Another?
Can we create another row with index 3?
Ukuthi apa pacho to create chinhu china what do you call, like something after Ivana. Okay, we could try that. Find that. Yes, we can, but I think we should specify the axis now. Okay, let me think about it. Because by default, doing this, edge column, but we have to specify the axis here to add data. Let me try to think with syntax to say
what I
okay, let me think about it. Which no address say that it should be possible, yes. Or someone and how to do it so that this distract can distract with the phone. If someone knows how to do that, maybe they can assist. Well, to define the next thing. Which paper number we want to pick is M na 29 na M na 6. How can we do that?
Yeah, tukwapa tikashandisa togona kushandisa ndichita bhotora nyaya dzeilok nalok handiti. Ilok anenge achitiudza isusu the position, but so ngashandise ilok too.
Okay, totally.
Toti df ilok totsvaga manje ma-index kuti zviri pasi apo. Handitati tiri kuda 29 nani?
Tukuda M na 29 na M na 6.
Na M na 6. Saka patakuita lower bound column, totanga nema-rows, lower bound row, upper bound row. Saka togona kuti isusu handiti tinode kuti 0 1 2, saka pa irikubva pana 1 kusvika kwokupedzesera toti kuma-rows kuti vatati kubva pana that's 0 1 kubva futi pana 1 kusvika apa ichasviki kwokupedzesera manje apa yakugumira parod, saka takuti -1 the number of columns. Mborana icho chitoni?
The simple is that. So the syntax for vasina kunge vazvibata kuti zviri kufamba sei, I'm going to give you the syntax. It's row lower, row upper, row step, comma, column lower, column upper, column step. Does it make sense? It's still the lower bound, the upper bound, and the step. But kunokutanga specifier index yema rows. This first part is for rows, then comma. Second part is for columns. It's as simple as that. Same slicing attenuator kubva kuma-list yakaita kuma-series. The same slicing ingoripo, but for my data frames, takutanga specifier ma-parameters ema-rows tozospe ma-parameters ema-columns. Sounds bigger.
Right, nhai Miranda. Isusu patikashandisa ngatiti toda kushandisa loko apa. Loko anenge achitiudza isusu the index values for the rows. Ndizvo.
Anenge achita sei?
Achishandisa the row index values kuti names atinoti names ema rows. For example, apo tina 2 na 3 ndo index values ema rows.
Okay.
Saka tokwanisa tikashandisa log tisina kuti ilog tikati df.log tokwanisa kuti tiri kuda 2 and 3.
Tinokwanisa because anditi remember 2 na 3 uyu asiro ma default index aya ana 0 1 2. You remember?
Apa yatotudza kuti ndo names acho nekuti 1 2 3.
Rega ndimachinje panapa. Because maybe it's got 2 3 is not possible. So I'm changing them to A, B, C like this and this.
Yeah, saka pa takukwanisa kuti chi A, B, C manje. Saka takukwanisa kuti kunoreferensa kuti tinoda B na C.
If you want to do the same thing that panapa, but tengita kuya panapa toti B up to C, ma string kind up to C, comma, then for that other one, it's gender up to, okay, because it's locked, so it's up to the actual one, up to 8.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the same thing. But my labels, you have to remember kumaisa ma quotes, because I'm going to string. So even by pana na 1 2 1 2 after found to miss a string, you have to miss a quote session.
Hello, Miranda.
Hi.
Can you scroll up so that I'll be able to see what 1 1 3 we from our table? How do we come up with the matrix?
What?
The actual table yatatina yon. Hold down. Yeah, this one that we are taking the information. We are saying the M on the second row is on location ilog where it's on index 1, right?
All right. So let me rerun this. Both the A, B, C. Let me just rerun this. Each way sync.
Okay, so I was saying that the first M, which is on gender B for Tapiwa, it's on index 1, and M is on index 2. 29, I mean.
Okay, you remember this part.
And that part, is it just coming as for the M's, which is like the...
So the M, because the first part is my rows, of which my rows are my A, B, C. So it's like 1, the lower bound, tweeting gas angry, pa 0, 1, pana B, pana colon, colon, it means up to the end. The first part is ready to print my M. The second part is, you columns, column 1. So ana Miranda that's index 0. Ana F na M that's 1. So ndopa zviri kutangira up to 3. That means it's a printer 1 2. You ignore 3. You ignore na 52.
So the 3 and this corner to Rubuda bag.
Miranda Tapiwa is column number.
Is the column number 1?
Index
is column 0.
Equana F
1
10
2
54
3.
Falcana chancer ignore the upper bound. So this is column number 3. Skateudo tangira column number 1, column number 3, but excluding column 3.
All right, I that nankiri the rule do and kangano which it has to exclude the last part. It's all right. Thank you.
All right. Can I chance index it ignores the last thing, but can I chance my labels? Data.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Yeah. Then by pastoral say another row. I think an alternative that we can do is creating another data frame. So what we can do, and so far it's now one. I want us to create another data frame and run the DF2. Yes.
I tried to attend to that one.
Okay.
I sent a message in the
How can we do that?
message section.
Daughter, say, can you dictate?
Okay, so it's df.append. Open bracket. So it's either you can first make your list on top, or you can just make your list inside these brackets. So put the square brackets. New.
Sorry?
Just put the name. You can put the string literals, the quotes. And say David. Then comma M, capital letter M. Then
The next thing is
54.
age. The next thing is age and this. The next thing is age and
Yes,
this.
it's age.
Then the next thing is weight and this.
Age you can put, yeah.
All right. Kamuno mtengeta kuwea so call the list and this.
Yes. Take. Then
Oh, what a good. This is the next one again.
No, it didn't run.
How did it not run? Okay.
With the assignment and the
Yes.
Hello, Miranda.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, Miranda.
Yes, I can hear you.
Go to the second line inside the brackets. Go and put sorry, just go and put ignore underscore index is equals to false.
What is it?
Ignore underscore index is equals to false.
Like this?
Yes, capital letter F. Yes.
Okay.
Try to run that.
It's still not running. But I had a similar idea, but we will create another data frame. Do append the data frame to ERIRI. So I don't know why it's not working, because I had something similar in mind. And then I was thinking.
Okay, Miranda. Probably the reason why it's not running is because at the top your DF is
it's not a data frame.
No, your DF has got its own row index.
Okay.
Yes. Can you remove the rows?
Yeah,
we removed the. Did it run?
No,
Can you assign second line yakupa code to DF because maybe apana assignment. I'm just thinking kuti power to DF to append DF say DF equals DF.
Oh, okay, like this. Alright. So yato zira nakaka one this. So let me start again. Bapanapa. Okay, sakaya edera, but
It looks like edda to the column. To the edda another okay.
Okay, so edra ma rows. But
because that one is
another column called 0.
Okay, I think up and up and up in the funga axis equals. I'm not sure if it is axis 0. Edera column or another way, and then the funga is easier, which is creating another data frame. That means okay, unexpected.
Code number is a true and I ignore index.
It's still doing the same. Okay, so let us try to work around E. But me, what I was thinking was to create a totally different data frame. Let me just go into code key. Okay, maybe now it might be a little bit difficult since there is some column names there. Okay, let us just create. Good, very good. We can send something like this. So we now have this new data frame. Then we try to append now. Kurisa df3 is equal to df dot appends. And we are appending the df2. Then we print df3. Oh, still the same here. Okay, I think about now go under pressure which I'm rushing against time. But maybe I'll find a way. Look, and not in the code of how we can add rows if an existing data frame. I think Jema data frame can slice. I think that would be O and follow a syntax here and up with the syntax. Follow this syntax, I think would be woman dry. So okay. Now we only have.
I have a question about data frame. Teach you no apply my data frames. Wow. Could you a column rename my list? Say it's more like a normal list, but real column, and I want to split the column your my individual my different columns, sort of like. kuti ndine handiti panapa tine 3 columns name age handiti ndogona kupiwa muname imomo patorine sort of instead of Miranda maybe na Miranda tapiwa Ivana iri same column tobata iri musame film cell then tobata dzikapata score paita after another 3 then also must split it down to different columns a multiple response aya kana pata pasaka
alright apa nditi tine column rakanzi name age na gender. And you're saying you want to split with name Amire Ega?
No, ndikuti type of data data ratinaro wawana ma rows mune a list value iri pana name apa itori a list of my names maybe column rekanzi names varanzi name. Then muna Miranda, muna Tapia, muna Ivana Pazero, we start Pazero.
We start Pazero, Papo.
So now that kuzo chiri split a data frame kundite mas different columns. Ipa panere a faster way and a default way go split a data frame kana to tanga kupinda mutatinto. I mean, tanga kushan sama for lupu pindemo.
Okay. Would this be cutting across the whole data frame? So which tombochi let's say example which first name, middle name, surname. Saka entry pa museo one and it. But you want to use my first name angari ma omega, my middle name, my surname angari pa opega.
Yeah.
Is this cutting across kushika like the whole data set can do in one inch?
It's in this case maybe challenge as the uniform makoma rose match ngona kona mwe 3 mwane 4 names mwane 2 names but the agenda yekuti ku separate each entry mirror.
Hello, can I say something?
Yes.
You use split underscore multi-column. So it will be split underscore multi-column, then in brackets df, then you dot your column your kuda. To split it.
The split, I think the split function when the sector thing is split I think my split of a string. So I'm not sure of the syntax, but I'm sure what Tendai is saying about it, but I know the string, the split function is very. So what did you say, Tendai?
Let me put the code in the message.
All right, it's fine.
All right, thanks.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. Maybe use the last few minutes to update code for us to be able to add a row. Then I'll comment with what was I doing. Then seeing which time they appear, but that's a question paper. And tomorrow, I'm not sure. They said Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I might also not be available on Friday. So seeing which this week, I'm unavailable. The one that which I recording, probably video recording, can't even voice over. Digital the code on my answers in a question cannot put on write the notebook and heavily comment it and send you
video.
Sorry?
Video ribu.
Okay, I will try. All right, I'll find a way to video. Alternatively, a heavily commented notebook. I think it's easier.
Yeah, a notebook is okay.
I'll try to comment every line of code. And I'll try to comment every line. Even very straightforward. I think I'll just put comments on every line.
Hello, Miran.
Yes, I.
Not to talk to end. Now, can some dim data frame pandas momo. What kind of iteration can one do? Was, for example, for loop, inotiitarisira ma-conditions over dzokera pauyu pako paipe paunga uri pauyu paipai pane data frame, right? Saipa baba toda kuti pega pega pana not applicable ndiani missing value, toda kuti tinyorere kana kuti missing value. So we want to do an iteration yekuti charana kubva pa row number 1 column number 1 ichitarisa kuti hapana anything yobva yanyora kuti kana kuti missing value ichidaro kana paine value yoskipa ichidaro so.
Okay, you want it could you focus specifically on missing values?
Yes.
Okay, so for even missing values, I think patorine iripo kudara a function maybe iripo kudara. You want the QNA, I think. Like this. It maybe turn out df dot QNA. And if there's certain value you have to fill with. Maybe with FFFF. Okay, I think maybe currently no filana 0. I thought no filana anything. Like say up which is filled in Pisipanan NNN Nima 0.
If I go in quote.
Sorry?
If I go in quote.
All right. Alright, now Manja, I have to read and read it. Alright, so but I think this will only work for my missing or for like a personal team. But maybe because I'm going to scenario, I'm not sure how to do that. But in a scenario, it may be you actually want to replace an existing word with another word. That's a different scenario. I'll look into it with not replace, I say. But for missing values, this is how you do it.
Hi, Miranda.
Hi.
So I've edited the code and I sent on the chat.
Okay.
The code to add a new row. You can try running that code.
David,
from David.
Okay. Okay. Saka tifana kuchinjere kuti tiise data frame from series.
Yes.
Okay, so are you saying I should maintain it as a series like this?
Yes.
Yes, maintain it as a series like that.
Okay.
Sorry, you can remove another code from that name.
Okay, if I go create a jet, but okay, all this last part.
Yes.
All right. Then I think we just need to rename As you can see, it is enough to reset my index. Yango continue it is 0, 1, 2, then X. So I think a way to do that would be to.
So the name X is on the series.
Creator using a dictionary cap.
Yes, that's another way also to create my data frame. You can create a data frame using my list, or you can create it using my dictionaries. That's good. But I want us to change, but you continue in the panel 3 above. So you can reset my index, Elu.
Or we can just set ignore index is equals to true.
Panava.
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, I think that was even date. So at the end of the questions or contributions, guys, I will try to send a notebook here. I'm sure there are a number of things that I need to edit and comment before I can send it. I'll try to send this tonight, but then during the course of the day, Rema past exam.
Okay, thank you, Miranda.
All right. If there are no more questions or contributions, I think we can call it a night.
But Miranda.
Yes.
I think if possible, tikazowana just one, maybe takuda kunoenda kuma exams.
All
Just
right.
one lecture.
I
Maybe.
think it's okay. I'm okay with that. And I hope to answer quite just a time, guys, because I have to arrange but I'm available and even can I questions beforehand, and then I try to reply if you can't adjust time from 6 to 8.
Fine.
All right. So if there is no other question, all right, it's okay. So you just be in touch with me, then I'll assist from them Robert Zero. Okay, guys, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.